While our first international keynote is on new danger of digital society, why cybersecurity is so important today and what it is to be ready for tomorrow. We have with us Dr. Solahuddin bin Shamsuddin, the CISO CTO, Cybersecurity Malaysia under Ministry of Science, Technology, Innovation, Malaysia. Well, Dr. Solahuddin has been working as a cybersecurity professional for more than 17 years. He joined Cybersecurity Malaysia in 2002 and has been working in a wide variety of cybersecurity threat areas. With his knowledge, experience, and skills in various cybersecurity domains, he is now entrusted to be Cybersecurity Malaysia's Chief Technical Officer and Chief Information Security Officer. He is a recipient of Global Globe Tigers Award 2016 for CIO Excellence and Leadership. Thank you so much, Dr. Solahuddin, for joining us. Over to you.
Okay, let me share my screen, yeah? Okay, thank you, Bhavya. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Esteemed and distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's really an honor for me to be here with you, all of you today at the World Cybersecurity Summit Asia, which is organized by CON. I would like to extend my commendation to the organizer for organizing this significant event that helps participants to share knowledge and understand how to prepare, detect, and protect the organization from cyber attacks or cyber breaches. Ladies and gentlemen, the advancement of digital technology is evolving at lightning speed compared to the previous decades. We are now highly reliant on the internet and digital technology in our daily lives, as well as in our business operations. While digital technology has contributed to greater people's and organizations' productivity, enhance efficiencies, reduce costs, and enables the production of more goods and services, as well as foster innovation, the issue of cybersecurity has also become a very serious concern to all. My biggest hope is that by the end of today's event, the bonds between the organizations will continue to strengthen as we shall continue this collaboration to push further the narrative of the criticality of cybersecurity in today's organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, in this digital age, almost every device is interconnected and has access to the internet. Also, the technologies are now converging with each other, which means one technology can include or converge with two or more technologies. These technology trends have exposed new vulnerabilities and prospects for cyber perpetrators to launch cyber attacks. By observing various cyber attacks worldwide recently, it is seen that perpetrators are now using the current technology innovation to refine the areas of expertise in developing more malicious processes, which replaces the traditional method of attacks. Emerging cyber threats have become a lot more sophisticated, disastrous, and pose a serious risk as well as challenges to individuals and the nation. Cyber espionage, hacktivism, malware infection, frauds, and misuse of social media are still at the top of the threat list. Hackers will continue to make profits by stealing individual and corporate data, but there will be more attacks on critical infrastructure for service disruptions due to many reasons. As we all know, the advancement of digital technology is evolving at a rapid rate compared to previous decades. We are now highly reliant on the internet and digital technology in our daily lives as well as in our business operations. According to a cybersecurity research company, Cybersecurity Ventures, there will be 6 billion internet users globally by the year 2022 and 7.5 billion internet users by the year 2030. Thus, this shows that information and communication technology, or the ICTs, is now seen as a vital tool for nations to progress economically, socially, and politically. With a faster internet connection, it enables the business organization to intensify its business by venturing into a variety of e-activities, such as e-commerce, e-training, e-procurement, e-learning, and e-tendering, just to name a few. The rise of cyber threats has proven to be a very real risk to businesses and government bodies face today. Thus, it must be made aware that equipping oneself with the necessary skills and technology is key in ensuring survival in such a hostile climate. While emerging technologies such as Industry 4.0, big data, cloud computing, fintech, blockchain, artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, deep learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things or the IoTs, and many others have contributed to greater efficiency and connectivity for people across the world, there is a significant need to look into the approach of adopting security aspect that has become a very serious concern to all. The cybersecurity landscape all around the world has become more treacherous. With these emerging threats, we need more professionals in cybersecurity. However, the ecosystem is lacking in terms of skill and experienced resources. The cybersecurity ventures reported that there would be an estimated of 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs unfilled by the year 2021. The cybersecurity job forecasts have been unable to keep pace with the dramatic rise in cybercrime, which is predicted to cost the world 6 trillion annually by 2021, up from 3 trillion in 2015. Industry reports suggest that the size of Malaysia's cybersecurity services market will exceed USD 630 million in the next 2 years, demanding more and more talents to provide them and integrate them with the existing businesses. With the current risks, threats, and number of cyber attacks, the cybersecurity approach is no longer about technology, software, and hardware. The approach should be holistic, which consists of people, processes, and technology designed to best protect individuals, organizations, and nations from a cyber-related threat. This requires an effective cybersecurity approach, which will reduce the risk of cyber attacks and protects against the unauthorized exploitation of systems, networks, and technologies. We also need a unified set of rules and standardization. It's important to have multi-layered defenses and initiatives because an attacker can attack from multiple entry points or different layers of the infrastructure. Therefore, companies, enterprises, and the public alike must aim towards achieving cyber resilience, protecting themselves and all stakeholders involved from cybersecurity threats. This is why the Cybersecurity Malaysia welcomes such collaboration between local and global industry players. In this context, Cybersecurity Malaysia delivers its service by developing and enhancing its capabilities as a cybersecurity technical agency through three major components, that is, technology, people, and process. We aim to be adaptive in our approach by having situational awareness of the risk environment and adjusting our organization to cope with cyber threats. Adaptive cybersecurity encompasses predictive, detective, responsive, and corrective capabilities. It has been the mandate of Cybersecurity Malaysia to reduce the vulnerability of digital systems while simultaneously strengthening Malaysia's self-reliance in cyberspace. When tackling evolving digital threats, our only option is to grow and continually advance our security strategies. Efforts will continue to be enhanced with the introduction of new technologies that bring with it its cyber risks and cyber threats. While various initiatives are being done, perhaps most relevant to the public are, number one is the CyberSafe program. That's the Cybersecurity Awareness for Everyone program, emphasizes the importance of safeguarding internet users' safety and access, including personal information when surfing the internet, especially social media sites. Number two is the Cyber Incident Response Team, or CIRT, commonly known as Cyber 999. It's the Security Response Center that provides public with technical assistance and incident handling in resolving incidents. And thirdly, the Coordinated Malware Eradication and Remediation Project, as we call it, CMER, to tackle malware threats in this country. In addition to our effort to assist the public in securing their cybersecurity needs, Cybersecurity Malaysia has developed several guidelines for the public. Among others are Cloud Security Implementation for Cloud Service Subscribers, the CSS guideline, Cybersecurity Guideline for Industrial Control System, the ICS, cybersecurity guideline for the Internet of Things, the IoTs, cybersecurity guideline for Industry 4.0, and etc. By making sure that the individual citizen is well informed and constantly aware of their identity vulnerabilities, we hope to nurture a culture of cybersecurity across Malaysia. Collaboration with private organizations, institutions of higher learning, and social programs have historically been very important to the success of cybersecurity in Malaysia, and I'm very pleased to see stakeholders from multiple sectors coming together to further our shared goals. Ladies and gentlemen, as a nation paving its economic pathway towards digital economy and digital nation, we truly need to understand and be aware of the growing cyber threats happening around the world. The government and the private sector have prompted increased investment to protect and defend networks, data, and information. To strengthen cybersecurity and stay ahead of cybercriminals, we need to anticipate cyber attacks. Cyber readiness is about aligning a nation's digital agenda with the cybersecurity agenda. A good cyber readiness practices encompasses a clear understanding of risks and its threats to assess, including relevant information that belongs to the organization. One must identify potential risks, protect our system to limit the impact of an attack, detect anomalies and intrusions early, respond quickly, and finally, recover capabilities or services as fast as possible. In the cyber world, deterrence is the best form of defense. If it is harder for cyber criminals to target your organization, the higher the chance they will quickly move to the next easier target. This is the low-hanging fruit. Therefore, the broad strategic objective is to deter a cyber adversary by demonstrating one's cybersecurity strength and thus significantly altering the adversary's cost-benefit calculation. While deterrence should be considered a first line of defense, cyber incidents and breaches are largely rising. Cyber threats are involuntary and they are growing in sophistication. It's not just a question of when the organization being attacked, but it is a question of what and how it responds when critical systems have been compromised. Thus, our approach towards cybersecurity should be adaptive, holistic, voluntary, and innovative in identifying potential threats and its impacts on the national security and public well-being. Such approach requires more attention to be given in the area of enhancing people's cybersecurity awareness, upskilling professionals' expertise, adopting high standards of processes and benchmarks, as well as enabling cutting-edge technology in addressing technology threats. This approach will support any entities, including our nation, to become cyber resilient, having the capability and safeguard the interests of its stakeholders, reputations, brand, and value-creating activities. We live in a world relying on technology, and this technology can also be vulnerable if it's not designed with security in mind. Cybersecurity is not an option for us. It must be informed, part of the design of every device, every application, and every hardware, as well as software, and anywhere that data is stored. The viability and stability of the country's digital ecosystem will very much depend on its robust cybersecurity and defense capabilities. It is therefore paramount that every nation continues to advance cutting-edge cyber defense technology and services that will protect its cyberspace. With the pace of cyber criminals far outpacing the defensive mechanisms which we currently employ, this is the right time for us to create more partnerships and collaboration, be it intra-industry or within the country or with external stakeholders. This, I believe, is the way forward to encounter the threats that we face today in the form of cyber crimes. That is exactly why more and more forums such as these are needed for us to meet the practitioners often, learn from the technology providers, and share practical insights so that we all could collectively grow in our cybersecurity preparedness. I hope this information sharing has been beneficial to you. Without further ado, I wish our participants a fruitful and productive conference. Thank you so much for participating. I hope you'll have a very eventful session today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Solahuddin. So we do have a couple of questions, if we can take that up from the audience.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, so Dr. Solahuddin, Neha Khare asks that if one organization does not have security team and policy, how do you go ahead framing the army and building awareness of this?
Training what?
If one organization does not have security team and policy,
All
how do you
right.
go ahead framing the army, AAME, and building awareness of this?
Training the army, is it?
No, framing the army.
Framing the army.
Yes.
I mean, your army, the armed forces.
Wait, meanwhile, I'll just take the second question, Dr. Solahuddin. Izuddin asks that cybercrime and threat is evolving. How to measure the organization's level of awareness? How does one measure that?
Okay, all right. It's very important for us to give awareness to all the employees. And at the same time, we must have something to measure on how the level of understanding, awareness of the employees. Yes, like in Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have an online system where we require every employees to answer questions, to like a quiz. Every quarterly, we do quizzes, and they must pass these quizzes. Okay, it's like a test to gauge the understanding of the current situation, the understanding of the security awareness on what things that they should do, the do's and don'ts when you are facing certain situation. Yeah, I think this
Sure.
one way of measuring the awareness level of employees.
Sure. Also, there's one question from Lipcar Lock. He asked that for company that uses cloud services, what are the required steps that need to be taken to improve the cybersecurity level?
Okay. I think this is a problem faced by everybody. It's actually things that we all should know. That's why in Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have produced guidelines for the customer that can subscribe to the cloud services. You should know what are the measures that you should do in order for you to select the right cloud service providers, and then to be safe when you are online. There are certain steps that you should know, that you should apply best practices in order for you to be confident that you're okay, you're okay to be online. So you can go to our website and download the guidelines that we have produced when on using cloud. Yeah.
Sure. Also, just going back to the first question, which Neha Khare was asking, she meant that if one organization does not have a security team and policy, how does one go ahead framing the same and building the awareness about it? So how do you frame that is what she's asking, Neha.
How do you frame that?
Yeah, if one organization does not have a security team and policy, how does one frame that is her question.
Okay. I think having security team is a must. It's like an insurance. It's like you having a lock to your door, right? I think it's a must that you must have your security team. If you don't have your security team, that means you do not appreciate, your assets, your IT assets, information assets. Yeah, you cannot safeguard the assets inside your organizations, which is very important. When somebody has an access to your data, then you will be at a loss. Yeah, it might be accessed by your competitors, okay, by your enemies, your adversaries. It is very important for. It's like having a door without a lock. I think, can you imagine that you have a door without a lock? No, it's very important. It's not a matter of something nice to have. It's a matter of something you have. You need to have. It's very important for everybody to have a security team that look after the security aspect of your organizations, the assets, the networks, and everything. I think
Sure.
this is it's not a matter of it's not to have things. No, it's a must-have things. Yeah, so you need to establish that.
Sure.
That's what, yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Solahuddin. We do have certain more questions we have from Arif as well as Lipkar Lok, but then in interest of time, we will have to conclude your session. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. Solahuddin.
Thank you.